to the Swole Initiative Network. You're here for the Hollow, our Call of Cthulhu game. My name's Ashley, and I'm running on 1 hour of sleep, 2 cans of Coca-Cola, and a brand new Prozac prescription. Let's do this!
just like all of our Cthulhu players.
It's gonna get weird.
First clip of the session.
Oh, good. So
10
good.
seconds in.
Fantastic. Yeah, we back for session 8 of our little mini campaign so far. It's been a spooky fun time. Thank you for being here for more spooky fun times. Anyway, let's talk about some sponsors. Hey Jay, you want to say some stuff?
I can say some stuff. Like about Norse Foundry.
Smooth.
Who provide all of who provide all of our gemstone and metal dice that we roll on and off the stream. And they also lend giveaway stuff. Which, if you are waiting on things, has been shipped. The labels have been created. I checked on it. We're good to go. Yes, but they also provide a wonderful library of DMCA-free, royalty-free, stream-friendly music for tabletop games that you're listening to right now. That you can stream on all of your preferred streaming platforms, unless you are a weirdo that thinks that music is better on SoundCloud. It's not. It's not. It's a dark corner of the internet. That's a dark corner of the internet, SoundCloud. Yes, Norse Foundry.
Ow. To go into a rant about SoundCloud.
Anyway, thanks to our sponsor, SoundCloud, the darkest corner of the internet.
Oh man.
Oh.
I'm done.
Hello?
Oh,
done? It ended weird. So, anyways, also we want to thank Griffin Co. All of our 3D printed and custom terrain comes from the incredible folks over at Griffin Co. You can check them out and use the code SWOLE22 and get 22% off at griffinco.com.
You're done.
I'm gonna be normal. That's it. I read the copy.
Incredible. That means, last but not least, our brand partner and official sponsor of Fables of Gallia is the one and only Hero Forge, where all of our fully custom player minis come from. And also, you can see our minis in our Daggerheart game, which I'm super stoked about because they were so cute and I love them a lot. And they're featured in our trailer, which are super cool. But yeah, Hero Forge. Ciao. Finger guns out.
Also, we have a new sub goal. We just unleashed one a couple of days ago, last week even, maybe. I forget when it was. I think it was during. What?
I'm trying to point at it.
Oh.
It's right there.
I thought you were signaling to me.
Sorry.
Yes, we have a new sub goal. It is 50, as you can see, where Mike was elegantly pointing to. As soon as we hit 50 subs, we will be unleashing another giveaway. And given that we're in the world of Call of Cthulhu, kind of, I thought we could give away a Smoolove tentacle cup.
Oh, what?
Oh, very cool.
That's awesome.
The tentacle. Oh, no, not the face. Yes, the tentacles that are coming out. No, not my face. This. Yes, this.
You said it.
Awesome.
So, this is a hand-crafted, hand-painted, and it's also got the Swole Initiative die on
that's
it.
awesome.
Yes, embossed in there.
Yeah.
So as soon as we hit 50, no matter what stream we're in, we will call the giveaway. You do have to be in the US because shipping costs, and giveaway laws as well. Yes, I forget about them. But yes, and you do have to be in the stream to claim it. If you don't claim it, we will move on. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much. All subs, prime subs, and gifted subs go towards our goal. If you're feeling fruity like that, and if not, then thank you just for being here and being a viewer, because that's the most important thing. And you'll be racking up channel points to use in Fables of Galia for flex points and things. So there, I'm done.
I think, as a rule, we should all just announce when we're done with stuff. Like, oh, by the way, I'm done. Because I think awkward outros, though, is kind of like our brand. And I like that. Here's another one.
When I used to do bits, I would end with end of message.
Oh, that's good. I like that. Let's let this silence sit for a second until Mike.
Just let it breathe. Let it breathe a little.
Yeah.
No, just cut it off.
Well,
Let it
you
get
haven't said it.
uncomfortable. Let it get weird.
I think we could sit here a long time.
We probably could.
Announcements over. Let's go to Trayline.
What exists here in this world came to it long ago, pulled in from the cosmos by the gravity of our forming planet. Atoms mingled into elements, elements into matter, and matter, after some considerable time, into life. We ourselves are comprised of much the same elements as our surroundings. Take, for example, iron, a vital component of our life force, our red blood cells, that help transport oxygen from our lungs to the rest of our body, just as it is found in veins deep under the Earth's surface. Cobalt, nickel, magnesium, all are found within and without, even beyond the reaches of our atmosphere in the vacuous expanse of space. These elements circle the heavens as meteors and other celestial bodies. It's a comfort, is it not, to be so interconnected with mere stardust, created from and of the cosmos overhead. In our last episode, our investigators faced the horrors of what was cricket and what was the Degerlands as these sick monstrosities chased them from the hollow. Narrowly escaping in a car under the skilled driving of Billy Joe, the investigators left town with the sheriff and Dr. Collins in tow. You all headed to the nearby Franklin University to try to understand both the strange fluid that had been collected by the doctor from some of the ailing miners before their unfortunate transformations, as well as the strange stone the investigators revealed to the other inhabitants of this escape vehicle. Arriving at the university, Dr. Collins set to work in his lab under the supervision of Sheriff Marsh should anything go awry, and you met with the professor of geoarchaeology, Professor Hargraves, who took the stone from its safe box to study it closer in his laboratory. That is where we are going to pick up today's session, there in the laboratory lined with walls of bookshelves with reference materials and history books, encyclopedias, and this big metal table in the center strewn with papers and pens, microscopes, beakers, various implements and tools. What do you all want to do? You see Professor Hargraves has settled down the stone in front of him and is going trying to take a scratch of the surface with a small scalpel, and sets the microscope next to him, trying to prepare a slide to study a bit closer.
Remind me, did he say how long he was gonna be in possession of it, or like when to come back or anything?
He didn't mention it. He told you were welcome to stick around if you'd like, but that he wanted to run a few tests, and that and looking at what he has set up in front of him, he has a few various beakers with different liquids, different like acid levels and different elements set up to run a series of tests. It seems like there's a fair amount of exploration to be done.
Professor, if you need a hand, I'm happy to offer.
Right. Well, you see, I'm just trying to get a scratch of the surface, but it seems to not be doing much more than dulling my knife. It's hard stone, that's for sure. I might have to do some surface tests instead.
Is there anything I can... I don't think we were able to ever get anything off of it, were we? I know it cracked a bit, but... Jeb, I know you were looking at it in the car earlier. Were you able to ascertain anything about the center of this thing?
Yes, it seems to have a solid center with space around the outside. But I cannot see inside it. That's just what I ascertained from sliding the paper in and moving it around.
I see there is a small space here, but I can't make much of what's inside. I want to figure out the make of it, the composition. It could give us more clues of its origins and maybe the source of that light you mentioned. I don't see no sign of any green light now, though.
That's
Yes.
actually good news. There was a, I mean, when there was a light, it was a problem. I'll tell you that.
And I'd say, Professor, if you do see a light, close your eyes immediately and leave the room. Hopefully
Alright.
this doesn't happen, but
Alright. I'll keep that in mind. You all are welcome to make yourselves at home. I know you're probably staying the night. Dr. Collins, I think, mentioned some accommodations. It's about maybe 4 or 5 p.m. I think at this time. You all got here kind of 2, 3-ish. It's probably been a little bit of time getting on campus, getting Dr. Collins set up and such. You all are. It seems like there's some studying to be done, and these things are underway. You're welcome to explore. You're welcome to inquire. You're welcome to inform. What would you all be doing in this moment?
I think there's a little unease of leaving the professor alone with it, but there's also the draw of wanting to maybe go to the library here at the university and find something. I think Dylan is having a tough time pulling that apart.
And you would know, Dylan, the library here at Franklin University is the largest, in kind of the tri-state area, this being the prominent university. And you would be familiar with kind of the resources there, considering this is also your place of employment. And you have plenty of access points to it.
Well, I was considering heading to the library to find any other information on this. As you all know, I feel a little uncomfortable leaving the professor alone with this stone.
I mean, I'm happy to stay here if that's what you want. I got no interest in the rest of this place.
I mean, I can stay here too. We do have that buddy system.
It's a good rule. It's a good rule.
The rule of 2.
Yes, that one.
Dylan, I can accompany you to the library if you need to go.
I just think there might be some other information there.
There's no sense in all of us just sitting around, so...
And if the professor needs help with anything, maybe if he's trying to get a sample of it, maybe you can figure out a way to break a piece off or smash the thing. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think we should smash it.
That's fair.
It could be an important find. Usually we don't go around smashing specimens, but it is your find, I guess.
Well, these two are in charge of it. That's for sure. And I point to Billy Joe and Clint.
Hey, Dylan.
Hmm?
I was thinking, and something like that, deep beneath the ground. Maybe see if there's any kind of I don't know, ancient people that would been inhabited this area. Like, maybe we were not the first people to see this before. I mean, I know everything there is to be known about the holler, but I know that my people hadn't been here since the beginning of time in this area.
Yeah, I can certainly have a look. Do you have any guidance on what kind of people I should be looking out for?
Keeper, would I have any kind of hunch of what to start with there? Like hearing stories or anything like that? Or
You could give me history for that.
Okay. Yeah. I got
That's-
it.
Yeah, you would know kind of from your upbringing and your familiarity with different folk medicines and such. Those are traditions that are passed down long in lines of heritage and across a lot of like cultural divides as well. Early settlers learned from the natives who originally inhabited this land, who had passed it down generations and generations and generations. So you have kind of an inkling that like there have been folk inhabiting this general area, you know, at least so far back as like before you know, America was quote unquote settled. People already lived here. So that may be a place to.
Yeah. I would just convey to you that there were original people in the area, and that's where I would start.
All right. Thank you. And would you happen to know how long has the mine's been in the Hollow?
Would I know that?
I'm asking you questions to ask you.
We're playing like a game of telephone. Yeah, you would know. I'll roll that into that same history check. And since you've lived there, you know that it's been there pretty much so long as your family's been settled there. So long as even like your father's father was probably a miner at some point in his life, probably what brought him to the region, and your family's kind of remained kind of around. So probably like the late 1880s or such. So it's been a good long 40 years or so that it's been in operation. Obviously, mining technology has changed a fair bit. But you know, also like things were pretty rustic still in comparison to some of the like more commercial mines in larger towns, even of the same time period.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think this would be a good place to start. Shall we go, Jebediah?
Lead the way.
I will happily lead the way.
Dylan and Jebediah, you head out of Professor Hargreaves' laboratory, passing along the way the windowed door of Dr. Collins's laboratory, where you see him focused on a microscope. The sheriff kind of like sat back in a chair, his feet up on a nearby table. And as you kind of like pass along out of this building, heading out onto the green and towards the large circular building that makes up the library, with its large white columns out front and giant oak doors. A beautiful array of windows let in a bunch of natural light into this space that you see. There's these like you see the books already from like the outside, kind of comprising these like rows and rows that lead back, and you enter the library of Franklin University. What are you looking for?
I would be looking for probably two things. One of them would be kind of the start of the mines, any history on the Hollow itself, how it started and by who. And then the other piece would be kind of the indigenous folk who settled there before and any of their beliefs.
Okay. Let's see. Give me a library use check. If you get it with difficulty, you'll get some.
Difficulty is half?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. 9.
Sincerely?
Yeah, that's a 9.
That's a great
Nice.
roll. Fantastic. It takes a little bit of time, but I'd say, Dylan, you probably know the Dewey Decimal System a bit by heart, able to quickly filter through all the tiny little index cards. God, don't you kind of miss doing that?
Yes.
Like that just like brought back a wave of like, dang. People, do they still have that in libraries? Surely. Is it all digital?
Yeah.
These damn millennials! They're ruining the index cards at the library. Anyway.
I'm just gonna be like, Jebediah, watch this.
Oh no.
Amazing. But Dylan, yeah, sure enough, you find some relevant books that seem like they will give you in the ballpark of what you're looking for. One in the anthropological section about early civilization in southeastern America, and another that is a bit more. You find a hold on. Have to. Nice. You find and for the other kind of the history of the Hollow, you're kind of directed towards the microfiche, which shares I hate running games like in the past because then you have to like look if anything actually like existed.
You can make up whatever you want and we'll believe you.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
You were directed towards an archival room, kind of a separate room off of the main area that carries like newspaper clippings, like local articles, things like that. You're directed to kind of like a bin with a date section, but it's still going to take a little bit of digging to find what you're looking for. We will get to what you find. Jebediah, what are you doing while he is looking through all these things?
So on the walk over, I wanted to kind of ponder my life's experience. So the like mutterings and things, they were really similar to something that I'd heard before, he said. Is there anything around that event that's sort of linked to a green light, or where was it in relation to the Hollow?
You're talking about your history that involves like the incident. It was not like I think probably this was okay. Well, question for you: do you feel like after such a incident, would you stick around close to the area, or
No.
would you? Right. I feel like this was
I would
probably.
have probably stayed for the funeral, done that, and then bounced.
Yes. So I imagine that maybe being more deep south. And you've now kind of traded in maybe a few names since then, to take on this persona to distance yourself from that. And as you think back to it, yes, you think of like this small Alabama town, this, humble family and all of those things, and kind of a region that you don't care to revisit. And thinking back, trying to reflect on any kind of like green light or anything like that. Nothing really comes to you.
Okay. In that case, I would like to look for two things. I would like to look for any sort of books on like demons and demonology, to look for any kind of like even correlation between what we've experienced and what I've experienced. And secondly, I would like to find if there is a record of the mine being opened by man, or whether it was just expanded into.
Speak on that. How will you?
Was the rock already open in that area, and a seam was found, and then it was mined out, or did they break into the seam from the outside?
For the like origins of the mine itself.
Yes.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I think the latter. Give me a library check.
Ugh, I have no.
Yeah, who wishes they learned the Dewey Decimal System now?
Look, I only have need for one book, and it is on me at all times.
That's triggering.
We all love Lord of the Rings. We know.
Exactly.
Okay,
Three
I got a
books.
34. I want to spend.
Ashley looks way too excited.
I want to spend 14 luck to succeed on it.
Great. Xena, mark that from your luck. I think probably in pushing your luck for this, you're looking through all these Dewey Decimal Index cards, maybe not quite as fast as Dylan was, and maybe like a little frustrated that you're not finding what you're looking for on first pass.
Why are these cards so small?
Looking initially in the 133s for kind of demonology, etc., and not really finding many books there until you think on it a moment, and you look in 213 for religion, and find a reference book of called Demons and Deities, that dates back to the like early 1810s, and you pull the Dewey Decimal card out that will direct you that way. For the latter of which, finding like local history is you're not really finding anything in the system, but again, you're kind of directed towards this archival room where Dylan is also kind of heading to look on those that kind of like local history type information. The Hollow is such a small town that even Franklin University, with its proximity, it doesn't necessarily have like in its like local history is more like the formation of the state, the formation of like communities, not really focused so much on like these smaller areas. Um, so you also are directed towards archival. The first book that you find, it goes into all of these like early communities and civilizations, and the history of like migration and these like nomadic groups that would come through and settle for a bit, then move on, and then kind of later as agriculture took hold, settle a bit more permanently. It has like all of these maps that like span like decades of kind of the region with all these different like shaded areas that show the different sects of these groups, and different communities that inhabit here, with a legend on the side that kind of tells you like what's what. And looking through this map, it's the same over and over and over. And looking at it, you know, at first it's kind of, you're able to find where you are now, kind of like this intersection in this valley, with nearby like a river and stuff, and kind of tracing that back, the river that you kind of follow. You follow it up towards where you know the hollow to be. Not marked on any map. It being such a small town, even now, it rarely shows up on maps. And in each of these maps, as you're looking through, you know, back in ancient times onto more recently, on each map, colored sections never encroach on a radius around that area.
Meaning, there were never like indigenous tribes that settled in that area, like they stayed away from it.
You gather that, yes, and at first you think, okay, no one settled here, but then as like the groups further as you go, and they become, as the groups grow and kind of converge, and their borders touch in different areas and expand to take up more room, they still never touch this small little radius of where you know the hollow to be. Curious.
Interesting.
You head to the archival room, looking into a kind of a
bid?
banker box.
Banker.
Banker box. I was like, what? Mailer box.
We got it. We got there.
Banker box.
Also playing charades. No, sorry.
With like all these dates on the side of them. And you finally are able to trace back to a time period, you kind of going around a few and looking through, and not finding any reference to a mine early, and finding reference to exports a bit late, and kind of being able to narrow down the year in that section. You come across some newspaper clippings about the formation of the mine within the hollow. We'll come back to you in a moment. Jebediah, you head to 213. You're passing these like rows in this Dewey Decimal System. 200, 201, 20, 202, 20. And as you're like going through, you're in the 213 section, and you see there's another student here, who is kind of like thumbing through a book, who kind of like jumps at your approach, and you see something fall from the book down onto the ground, He kind of looks from you to it really quick and kind of bends to grab it before kind of hastily putting that book back on the shelf and heading out. Not really saying anything to you in this moment. Just kind of like an awkward, nervous interaction.
You put it back in the book, or he took it?
He took it with him.
Okay. I don't have any reason to stop him. Did I see which book he put back?
He kind of like hastily put it back onto the shelf. Yes, so it's not quite back where it was meant to go. And you see, it is in the section that you are trying to look into as well. The book for your note directs you towards 213074. And you find that book, Demons and Deities, easy enough. And you see the other book, 21313, in its haphazard kind of placement on the shelf.
And what was the other one? I found my one. What was this one?
You look at it, and along the spine of it, you see no title, just a white kind of a star with these like sharp points, not like a pentagram type star, not a it looks kind of like a literal kind of like twinkling, how you draw kind of like the North Star, just engraved on this like navy spine of this book.
Okay. Out of curiosity, I'll open that one, and I'll just see like what's in there. If there's nothing on the spine, nothing on the back, I'm gonna open it and look what's in it.
Sure, absolutely. Cracking it open, you see it's kind of a thin book in and of itself. You see some text that appears to be in Latin, but primarily it contains like these diagrams, these different like astral maps, these circles of stars spaced out in a circle, and flipping through, you're kind of seeing these different like formations of these stars, and kind of in each one they adjust somewhat, and you see some notes scrawled in handwritten notes in Latin, kind of beside it, and on some of them things are circled, and as you're kind of like flipping through, eventually you come to a page with a map of stars encircling this central object. It splits from the center, and vines emanate out from each section to then encircle with the stars. God, that object looks uncanny. You, being a religious man, are familiar with a certain amount of Latin. You probably don't pick up every word in the inscription that is scrawled underneath this particular diagram. Deus, God. You follow a few other words that you translate. Below, eyes, roots, star, night.
What was that
These
last one?
words-
Sorry.
ignite.
Thank you.
Give me a history check.
Oh, that doesn't look good. Where is my history? Oh, yeah, no. I had to hit 5.
These words seem familiar to you, but you don't have enough context to really put them in their proper place in your mind.
Yeah. Some of these words, were they a part of the things that were being spoken by the affected?
There it is. There's that familiar.
You got real quiet.
It's in a place. Oh, huh?
Yeah.
You're good now.
Okay.
We couldn't hear you.
There it is. Things click into place. And you realize as your mouth forms these words, as you're reading them aloud, you have formed these words yourself in a feverish whisper, heard not by anybody but Clint, who was in the bedchamber to hear you muttering the words repeatedly, that you now read with clarity from the Latin. The God from above rises below, sees without eyes, needs no roots to grow. The star that has fallen, buried beneath, starts with a spark to ignite all it sees. I think that's where we're going to take a quick little break.
Oh.
Please.
Sounds good. All right.
Let's take a quick little let's take a cute little 10. And we will be back in just a few minutes to see, oh good golly gosh, what happens next. used to play jock jams in gym, and we would all just get so riled up to play dodgeball. I felt like it was like a life or death situation. Anyway, welcome back to the Hollow.
Pump up the jam. Pump it up.
We last left off as Jebediah found an interesting inscription in a book that had haphazardly been left back on the shelf by an individual who took something from its pages and then headed off. Jebediah, what are you doing with this discovery?
How long has it been since I've been looking through this book?
I'd say you were looking through it, just kind of like flipping through the pages. Do you feel like you were studying the pages or just kind of like...
No, I just wanted to get an idea of what it was about until
Sure.
I guess I found those
Yeah,
lines.
I'd say it's been maybe a minute of you kind of like, and then maybe like 30 seconds of you deciphering that. So not even 2 minutes, kind of since all this.
Dope. I'm gonna take that book, the demon book, and I'm going to head in the direction that the kid did, but a lot faster.
Absolutely. You head out into the way that this individual had gone, and you see like some movement. There are a few students kind of milling around these bookshelves, and to cross him initially, you don't see him in this first thing, and you kind of like head off. Give me a spot.
Did I take this? I don't know. I need to get a wider page. There we go. I did. Okay.
You coward.
I missed it by one. I'm going to spend 1 luck.
Sure enough. Mark off your luck. You're getting kind of flustered that you're not seeing this person until you see the glint of ginger hair that this person had that kind of identifies them from the crowd, and are able to kind of beeline. It looks like this individual is heading out towards the main doors of the library across like the main foyer area. You pick up your pace to catch up with him.
Where do I catch up to him?
You're still in the foyer, probably like 4 feet from the front doors. Nearby at like the main desk, you see an older woman with like half moon glasses kind of down on the bridge of her nose, who is just kind of like stamping books.
I'm gonna hang back a minute and just see where he's going. My idea is not to get like obviously seen that I'm following him, and I want to wait until I potentially have him alone.
He heads out the doors of the library, out into the green, and looks as though he is heading. There's kind of like 4 main buildings that comprise this campus. There was the science building where you had come from. Across this kind of like green way is like this large circular library, and then off to the sides are 2 dormitories for the ladies and the fellas, and it looks like he is darting off towards one of the dormitories.
Okay. I want to get to him before he gets inside one of the dorm buildings.
There are actually, get your dice out. This is a game. There are a few people still milling about kind of on this green. You see about like 6 people. It's not really heavily, like it's not like heavily congested, but there are just like some individuals off in like like some pairs and individually, just kind of like walking around. But you see where he's headed, and are able to head off that way. You are leaving the library in pursuit of this individual. Dylan, you remain in the archival room, thumbing through these articles and finally finding a article that celebrates the opening of a new mine in the area. Excited about the economic progress that will bring to the region, and kind of reading through your finding, the findings of coal and the shipments that are heading to the northeast and the railway that is connecting these stations. And then there's a testimonial from a local who, in their quote, talks about finding the entrance in the kind of like limestone cavern, that like while walking part of his property, he like twisted his leg in this hole that kind of opened up into the earth, and then kind of sensing potential opportunity, exploring that to find it was rich in minerals. So you find out how it was found, that there was a kind of natural opening, and that the first person to encounter this fell on a bit of an injury, but seemed optimistic still about the new railroad that's going to connect this area to the thriving Northeast.
Is this, as I'm reading this, is their name familiar at all? Or is it just kind of like a rando?
Yeah.
That's lost to the past.
Yeah, it's a random name that's lost. There's actually a smudge on the page right there, but like you can make it out, and there's just like no way. His name's Barney.
I feel like Barney got ripped off. Like other people came in and took over the mine and stuff. Like, man, I think to myself, like, man, Barney really let this one go for way too little. Probably didn't get compensated for his leg injury. Sorry, this is going off.
You're kind of alone in the archive room, just kind of to yourself over Barney.
Okay.
Brilliant. What else are you wanting to do?
There's nothing specifically on like. So it sounds like this area was avoided by the early settlers of this area, and then people came in, and this person, Barney, had land here and then discovered an opening. I'm assuming it's kind of like, just recapping here. Is there any history on when people finally like settled there? And if there was any like contention between the indigenous folk?
Give me another library use to search for this new information.
47. Oh, my library use is 50.
Nice. Kind of going back through like the archives here, you're trying to find something. It's hard to kind of pin anything down. The earliest that you can find like a newspaper written is maybe like the 1860s, but obviously people had been here much longer than that. So heading back out, you find like a local history section. that talks about how early colonizers came and kind of as they moved further inland, finding like pockets of uninhabited land. You don't find anything that's necessarily seems like it was a fraught issue. You don't find anything of like tension or war or anything quite like that.
Okay.
But it's hard to, for such like a rural and remote region.
Probably not well documented.
Yeah, you don't find anything kind of specifically for there, but just kind of like for the general area. But yeah, you don't find any evidence of kind of issue.
Okay. Yeah, I think before leaving, I would probably just be like taking notes and potentially like drawing out the map of where settlers were, like people had inhabited, and showing kind of the area that people avoided. I think that's all I would do.
Back outside, Jebediah, quickening your pace. Are you trying to be quiet about this?
When he's past like those 6 people that are milling around, when he's past those heading towards the dorm building, I will intentionally start like basically jogging so that like I have heavy footfalls, like I'm not hiding. And I'll just call after him, sir!
You see him turn around kind of bewildered at like the quickening of your footsteps, as he kind of looks back and kind of like holds his like shoulder bag to him. What do you want? I don't have. Oh.
Big smile on my face. You make an old man run.
Can I help you, father?
That'll do. You see, I think you dropped something, and I'm gonna pull the book out.
He looks at it, kind of like wide-eyed for a moment, before looking at you like a. You see, like, an inquisitive kind of look. Like he kind of like narrows his eyebrows at you a little bit, not in anger, but just kind of in confusion.
Big open posture, big smile, like warm, inviting presence. Now, I have not met anyone, and I'm going to put my arm around him. I have not met anyone outside of the clergy, and I'm going to start walking him. And I'm aiming towards, like, the side of the building where it's sort of out of eye shot.
He is focused on you, still fixated with a confused look that has now kind of moved a little bit into like bewilderment.
Good. That's where I'll keep him, and I'll keep moving the book in front of his face to try and keep his attention on that. And I'll keep walking him around. I have not met anyone outside of the clergy who was interested in Latin.
A kind of a sense of relief kind of comes across. There's plenty of us who take lessons in it. It's kind of one of the main.
Is that so? I had no idea. It is somewhat of a dying language, wouldn't you say?
I suppose you could say that, but
now, how are you doing with your studies?
Oh, I do all right. I do pretty good. I'm struggling, and Matt, he kind of like looks at you and looks at the collar, and then like kind of like breaks down a little bit. I'm struggling with the mathematics. I've just never had a mind for numbers.
I understand. I've never had a mind for numbers myself. But you see, and I'm going to continue walking him. You see, now Latin is a wonderful subject to excel in because there are going to be so few people out there with that exceptional skill that can apply it outside of the clergy, of course. Keeping on walking.
You come kind of like to along the side of the building, like the foliage gets a little heavier here, and you're kind of like under this like copse of trees between like the high bushes that border the side of the dormitory, and these kind of like large outstretched oak trees. He kind of like looks up for a moment now as you guys kind of come into the shadow here, but again, like it's, you know, kind of like locked into the situation.
You see, now, if you really wanted, because you seem like such a nice boy, I would be happy to swing by here every so often, maybe every other week, maybe give you some tutoring on Latin.
Well, that is a kind offer. Again, it's the mathematics where I kind of struggle.
Yeah, I understand, and I'm gonna put the Bible in his hand. I'm gonna say, you just hold that 1 second.
All right.
And I'm gonna bend down and start fiddling with the laces on my shoe.
Oh no, okay.
And while he's confused, I'm going to pull my pant leg up, and as I stand up, I'm going to back him against the tree, and I'm going to put my .32 revolver under his chin.
The whole time?
What?
I'm going to crack the hammer.
You can tutor me, man. It's fine. I'd be happy.
Now
to
listen
have-
here, boy, you shut the fuck up and you tell me what the fuck it was that you dropped.
I don't know what you're...
No, none of this. And I'll, like, drill it into his chin.
It's just a note. We, that's how we,
Spit it out, boy, come on.
that's how we know when we're gonna meet.
And who would we
leave
be?
notes in the book. It's a club. It's just a club.
What kind of club?
We study history. We study ancient beliefs. It's an anthropology club.
The truth. And I'll just stare him dead in the eye.
Oh, that is the truth, Father. We're just meeting. It's
Oh, Father God, blessed be this boy. Anoint him with your holiness as we send him on towards your gates of glory.
Oh God, Jesus in heaven, this is not. I swear to you, I only joined it
It's
because
okay,
my older
it's
brother
okay.
is in the club, and everyone was really proud of him when he joined it. And I just thought I wanted a little slice of that. It would just feel so nice. This one time to have someone be proud of me, and I just thought maybe this was my chance to like be in a prestigious club, and it's so hard to get into.
I'm going to just slide his bag off of his shoulder with my free hand. And I'm going to put it on my shoulder. Where's the note?
It's in the front pocket. Go back there. It's just note. I'm not lying to you, Father. I swear.
And I'll keep the gun on him, and I'm gonna reach into the bag and check.
Sure enough, you feel your fingers kind of like crumple against a piece of paper.
Okay. I'll pull that paper out and I'll put it up like right next to his face so that everything is still in front of me. And I'll look at the note to make sure that it is the note and it's not just a shitty bit of paper.
Look on the note. You see kind of like in a very hastily scrawled script. You just see it's very taciturn in its message. It simply says, meet tomorrow, usual place, midnight. H.
Okay. I'll take that note and I'll take note of it and I'll put it back in the bag and zip it back up, and then I'll slide it off of my shoulder and back onto his. Gonna dust his shoulder off a little bit. Now that wasn't so hard, was it?
I mean, kind. I think I pissed my pants full. I done pissed him up. I pissed him up big time. I'm so sorry. This is a serious game.
I pissed it up big style.
I pissed him up big style. It's still coming out.
I'll look at him in the face and I'll say, now what happened this afternoon? From the library, what happened?
Well, there was a preacher, that's you, who followed me under these trees. He pulled out a gun from his leg and he...
Now that's not what happened, is it?
Oh. There was not a preacher man. And I just went back to my dorm to study the mathematics.
That makes sense, doesn't it? Because you are struggling.
I am struggling.
Now, and I'll take the gun away and I'll click the hammer back. Well, now you go about your day and I'll go about mine. And if you feel even the slightest inclination to tell anyone about me, who's gonna fucking believe you that a preacher held you up with a gun?
You make a very compelling point. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Here's your Bible, sir.
Thank you. Well, go on now.
Right. Is it okay if I wait out here for my pants to dry a little bit, or? No, I'll go now. No, you're right. I'll go now. Okay. He goes back around to the front of the building, kind of like uncomfortably pulling the pant leg from his thigh a little bit, and then you hear kind of the squelch of his shoe as he like is walking awkwardly before coming out of the copse of trees, tries to like play it off really confidently and nonchalant, which he does with pretty well, as he walks back towards the dorm and inside.
Damn.
Not daring to look back, not even once.
I just lean back against the tree and like kind of like sigh, like kind of just like de-escalating the and go down, and I'll put my gun back where I keep it. Straighten out my pant leg and adjust my collar, and then wait a few moments and then head out back to the library.
We will reconvene there in the library after we check in back in the laboratory. Clint, Billy Joe, what are y'all up to?
So you just live in the woods?
Well, I mean, I don't just live in the woods. I mean, I'm building a house out there. But
Oh,
yeah, I'm
that
just
makes sense.
just staying in a farmhouse right now while I'm building it. But you know, it's peaceful. Me and my wife, we had a place out in Colorado, and just need to change of pace. But I do love the mountains, so what better than placed
And the
into
smaller ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
But what about you? You live with your siblings?
Yeah. Taking care of the dead is kind of just something that we've always done in my family. It was my daddy's business, so I learned everything I know from him.
No. Sorry for your loss. Is he no longer? Did he leave? Did he leave this earth? What kind of happened with him? If you don't mind my asking.
Oh, he passed.
Oh, sorry to hear that. I hope it wasn't too traumatizing. I hope it was peaceful.
Yeah. Mama passed when my youngest sister was born. And then Daddy passed a few years ago.
I'm very sorry. At least you got one life came out of one of those deaths. You know, I mean, at least there's a silver lining. I hate to hear about that.
Yeah.
I'm very
Well,
sorry.
Yeah, well, you know, it's not usual that a woman would run a business like, you know, mortuary, taking care of the dead, funeral services, all that stuff. But I'm the best. My daddy made sure I was.
I've seen proof of that. Yeah, and I mean, I've been hearing talks of this. Was it suffrage? I've been hearing that word thrown around a lot lately. So I mean, I'm all about that. So if you can own a business, I mean, I think that's cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of people don't like it, but I don't really care.
Yeah, people are idiots.
They are. Where's your wife right now? Is she in the woods?
Oh, no, she passed as well.
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of why I had to get away from Colorado. She reminded me of her too much.
Oh. I understand that.
Yeah, she slipped and fell off of our favorite lookout near our house. And,
My word.
yeah, just yeah, couldn't handle it. So I like trees. I don't like lookouts and peaks no more. I like being surrounded by trees. So here I am.
We got a lot of nice trees.
You do. I've been told not to look in them, which is perplexing.
Well, maybe don't look in them, but sometimes they talk to you. Don't talk back.
I wouldn't. Not after the shit we've seen.
That's true. I had a very different perspective on the talking trees before now. Now I don't really know what I think.
How so? Were you like interested in them? Did you? Like,
I mean, I think there's good things and bad things, and things to avoid, things to listen to. But all this is kind of turning everything upside down.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, y'all got some weird stuff out here. I mean, I've been in the woods, I've been in mountains, I've been in all kinds of stuff, but I've never had rules of the woods. I mean, I know some basic stuff. It's mainly related to animals, but don't look up in the trees. Don't talk back to the trees. Don't, if people are close, they're far away. If they're far away, they're close. It's some goofy stuff, I tell you. But I mean, y'all live a way more exciting life over here.
Well, it's just the way it is, you know. You grow up learning about it, and I've taught my sisters, and it's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess I'm gonna have to get with the program, because if I'm building a house here, I gotta learn the rules, and I'm sure glad I ran into you, because you seem to know more than most of these folks around here.
Yeah, we could put you together a real nice bottle tree. Maybe we should do that when you get your house finished.
Oh yeah, bottle tree. You were telling me about those before back at your place. That's right.
Yeah. We'll find you some good bottles, you know.
Yeah, we'll have to
somewhere.
After all this madness is over, we'll have to throw a few back and create a few empty bottles we can use.
Yeah. That sounds... You know, I'm not sure at this moment there's going to be much of a town to go back to. I really hope my sisters are all right. I mean, I'm sure they are.
I'm sure they're fine. You've taught them well enough. And not to sound mean, but I mean, hey, if there's no people left in that town, who owns the property? I mean, it's more of land, right? That's a joke.
I'm beginning to think that is true, but I'm beginning to think that might not be somewhere that people are going to want to be.
That's also a fair point.
Yeah.
Well, let's just hope there's not too many other rocks hanging around in that holler. At least ones that glow.
Yeah. You know, I've been thinking.
That's dangerous.
Sometimes. You know how this thing split when he went near it?
Yeah, that creepy thing.
Right. What do you think would happen if the doctor took his samples and brought them closer to the rock?
Well, I'd wager it'd probably crack even more. But, I mean, what does it do, though? Is it like...
I don't know.
Is it...
Part of me thinks it's Pandora's box and needs to be buried deep somewhere again, forgotten about, and we can all move on. Another part of me is like, do we figure out how to open it up, see what's really in there?
I mean, I don't know what we should do personally, but I mean, my curiosity is just growing the more we hang around this thing. I mean, first it glows, then it doesn't glow, and then there's creepy things in the woods, and then there's unalive things in the woods, and then all of a sudden it cracks like an egg, but it's dormant. I mean, what are we supposed to do? I mean, how am I supposed to not want to find out what's going to happen next with it? I can't, in good faith, bury that thing again just half cracked.
Yeah. Maybe that's... I mean, I'm not sure if this is like an intelligent creature or something, but maybe that's what it wants.
Who knows? Yeah, maybe it's not an egg at all. Maybe it's a seed.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, you said maybe it wants to be buried, and maybe it's a seed.
So that it can grow. Is that what it was doing underground? Growing?
I'm not sure, but egg, seed, I mean, I'd hate to see what kind of livestock it grows into if it's an egg.
It seems kind of evil, though. I'm not sure there's anything good that can come from it.
Yeah, like a damn goose.
Are you saying geese are evil?
Damn straight. You ever seen a goose? You ever mess with a goose? You don't mess with no goose.
I mean, I guess. I've shot a goose.
Maybe this is like the mother goose. Sorry, I had to lighten the mood somewhat.
You're silly.
Well, only way to be whenever there's death, destruction, and the undead coming after you.
I mean, I left that wide open for you to say that you're a silly goose and you didn't do it.
Well, you know, I'm not too smart, and I'm also not smart as a person. But, you know, I missed it. Went right over my head, even as tall as I am. Couldn't catch it.
That's all right. I was just setting you up for it. Next time I'll be more intentional and direct.
I appreciate that, ma'am. Well, speaking of this egg seed thing, what's the doctor doing over there? He using that fancy microscope thing?
Yeah.
Can the doctor hear us? Like shit.
Are you talking about? You're in the room with Professor Hargraves. You're talking about him.
Yeah, sorry, professor, not doctor.
Yeah. Do you say that out loud?
I would definitely think that Clint would say that out loud.
Yes. Your incessant prattling is distracting from my work, but honestly, like, just glad you're occupied.
You're welcome.
Have you found anything?
Well, it reacts to sulfuric acid in a way that makes me think there's some iron in its makeup, but it's still too hard for that to be the whole picture here. Now, I'm not certain. His words are cut off by a crash that you hear in a nearby room. You hear like metal clattering to a tile floor and like the shouts of like men's voices. What do you do? He kind of stops mid-sentence. Oh, what? No?
You stay right there, Professor. I'll go check it out. Billy Joe, you wanna stay here with the professor? You wanna follow me? I don't know. I'll go
What
take a
did we
look.
bring that rock in? What did we bring it in the box? Did we have the thing? Do we have? Okay, I'm gonna scoop up both the rock and the box and follow.
Oh no! He's like he. You
We
go
gotta
to
roll. You can stay here or not, but this is going with us.
It's covered in acid right now. Don't touch it. Oh,
Well, I
Lord.
put something over it.
Rule two, Doc, and I like hold up two hands as I like walk away.
he gets up with you to kind of like go and explore kind of like what is like happening. He kind of like brushes himself off and takes like these giant goggles off of his head as you go across the hall to the room where Dr. Collins has been studying these vials. You walk in on a chaotic tableau. There is a Bunsen burner, a light over which Dr. Collins is like wincing as the sheriff is kind of like holding his hand over it. And you see there is this like black mucus starting to kind of like wrap its way up over his hand. And you see like the table is a nearby table is tipped over, stools are on the ground, trays and like beakers are shattered on the floor as he's kind of like, nope, he's not Scottish. As he's like wincing in pain as the sheriff looks up as the door opens. He's like, well, I don't know what to do. He got too near the flame and just grabbed hold of him. You kind of like And yeah, what do you want to do?
Fuck. Is around the room, quickly glancing, what is used? So, like, in my mind, in a laboratory, there would probably be something to put out fires, potentially like an axe to cut, like, you remember like the extinguishers with the axe next to it to break the glass?
Yeah.
Would something like that be there?
When were fire
Yeah, that's a good
invented?
question.
Oh, like, holy shit, way earlier than I thought. Oh, yeah, that's when they had those little copper ones that are like,
Yeah,
I've seen those. Yes, you look, you look around the room, and sure enough, you do see, like a fire extinguisher. Give me a luck check or an axe.
A what?
Luck.
Okay.
Luck for an axe.
Wait, so if I'm over the luck, I didn't get it.
No.
Okay.
You don't see any axe or kind of cutting implements of that kind. You know where you can get some smaller ones, though.
That is not gonna work so quickly. I'll. Is this thing crawling up its arm very quickly?
It's moving slowly, and as you're like, you look closer and you see like over the flame, it's kind of like bubbling and kind of like shrinking, like you kind of saw it react in the fire previously, and it's kind of trying to like crawl away. And Dr. Collins, his skin is charring.
Burn.
He's absolutely like, and like, giant like blisters are like forming on his hand and his arm as he is just like screaming in pain, but the sheriff is just like holding him steady, not sure what else to do in the situation. So it's not crawling quickly, but it is like active.
This isn't gonna work. I don't think I carry around a bone saw.
Are there any like Bunsen burners or anything?
That's what
That's what he's holding his hand over.
Oh, okay.
Would I have a bone saw in my stuff?
You know, initially, you expected to come here for an autopsy. So I would say when you left your home in your bag of belongings, I'll grant you a bone saw.
Wolf. All right.
Yeah. Do it. I'll help hold him down.
Okay. You approach the table, Clint going to like hold him down, as Billy Joe, you like take out your kit, kind of putting it, I assume like laying out your tools and kind of selecting them. Dr. Collins sees this and his eyes go so wide. No.
All right. Do you want to be one of these things and have your body split in half, or do you want to lose a hand?
Oh, neither is a great option here.
It's not. It doesn't work like that.
One option, Doc.
Okay. Oh. And
yeah.
Give me a medicine check.
Okay.
As Clint, you're like holding him down. The sheriff is on the other arm, kind of grabbing it. As Billy Joe, set to work, bone saw in hand.
I got it.
And how well did you get it?
Mine is a 60 and I rolled a 46.
Okay. There is, you act quickly.
Mm-hmm.
3 motions, and you are
Yeah.
through the bone, the sinew, the muscle.
While I'm doing that, in the same like action, while I'm doing that, I'm saying to Clint or anyone around, I need a belt.
You got it. I'll I was like, I don't have one. I'll just take the one off of the dock because I'm wearing suspenders. I don't wear a belt.
Sure enough. And as you go to do that, his body is limp. He has passed the fuck out. And you're able to take the belt. There is a decent amount of bleeding.
Oh.
But you are able to tourniquet his arm really quickly. And like looking up now, all of you here in this room, the smell of burnt, charred flesh still heavy in the air. All of you now spattered in this blood that seeps out over this metal table and drips onto the ground. The smell of iron hanging heavy in the air from this like blood. You all kind of step back and breathe for a moment, kind of looking around at each other.
Hand is still burning.
You look at the hand. You want to make sure the hand is still burning, you said?
Yeah.
Sure thing. Nearby, you see some like long like tweezer tongs
Yep.
that you're able to like hold it in, and kind of holding it more purposefully in the fire. You see this mucus liquid, this like black viscous substance like crackle and boil, and kind of like you hear this like high-pitched shriek kind of coming from nowhere but everywhere around you as finally it kind of like blackens off and like comes off in just like this ash that disintegrates before it ever hits the table. The hand charred and black. You look around at each other. Sheriff, Dr. Collins, passed out, Clint, Billy Joe. You realize two things. Professor Hargraves is gone. And so is the lockbox. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Son of a bitch. What?
Damn it!
Damn.
Damn it!
Oh man!
Think I know what's going on here. I figured it all out. I figured it all out.
Tonight's episode had everything. We had preachers with guns. We had pissy pants. We had bone saws. What else do you want from Call of Cthulhu?
I mean,
Those are the main point. If you open up the Keeper's book, it just has those three things written down.
Big bold letters.
God,
Chapters,
like
chapters of how to incorporate them into your game.
damn NPCs with their secrets.
With their secrets.
Bone saw is ready.
I would never.
No, yeah.
Couldn't possibly.
Amazing. Some fun things kind of coming to light for our individual investigators. Some interesting connections potentially being made with some information, some context, and a lot of blood. But yeah, that is where we're going to call it a night for tonight's episode. Sorry it's short, but again, 1 hour of sleep, you guys. I need to go to bed.
No worries.
Thank
This is
you.
Awesome.
Thank you so freaking much for joining us. This was a really fun one. And yeah, we will be back in 2 weeks. But be sure to come back in 1 week because we'll all be here for at the same time.
and we'll be here tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Here tomorrow. Fables of Gallia, our D&D game, DM'd by the lovely Jay, who is also a gun-wielding preacher in that game often. It's crazy.
In his own game?
Yeah, he
It's my
wrote in.
NPC.
Yeah. Brilliant. Oh, nice. We're gonna raid Perception Studio. Yeah. Any other ending announcements?
No, I think you covered it all. Tomorrow,
Oh,
Fables.
yeah.
then Monday, community stream, then Wednesday, Daggerhand.
Yeah.
And then back to Fables, and then again the following week, but then
But
with
with
Call of Cthulhu in it instead of Daggerhand.
And I can't wait for that because it's, I want to find that Scottish asshole.
Fuck.
stole our seed egg.
Cool.
I'm gonna text you guys. Ashley excluded.
Are we gonna have a text
For
group?
real?
without-
You guys!
Ah,
hate that.
repercussions.
Play a conspiracy chat.
Will you let me read it after?
Depends if
Yeah.
we survive.
Yeah.
Unless they say something.
We
mean
all
about
died.
I was about to say, it depends what we say about you.
This is my worst nightmare.
it. We would never.
It's
You know
playing
we would
out in
never.
front of everybody. Oh,
I'll just
man.
I'll just call you and read what they're saying.
Yes.
All right, we're raiding, folks. Have a good one.
Okay. Farewell.